I'm going to keep him calm.
And they suggest doing this for 1 to 2 minutes. They suggest putting hip and shoulder as the location. Step is effleurage, or what they call gliding strokes. The purpose is to warm the muscles, prepare for deeper work. You'll work down the entire body from head to tail, including the legs. And you can do it 3 to 5 times. So they're just basically doing full body effleurage, right? Okay, throw it down. Next, we have slow digital circles on the muzzle between the eyes and the ear. So eyes, ear, these are just our little circular friction that we already do. Physiological and psychological relaxation is for the muscles of the facial expression, and mastication, which is next, fulling, dorsal to ventral on both sides of the muzzle over the gums. Fulling is really just kind of like effleurage. It introduces to facial and oral work, relax muscles, improve circulation. Then we have scooping under each ear. This is relaxation and to also free the periauricular tissues, which are the tissues around the ear. Then we do tiny friction circles over the entire ear using the thumb and fingers, and we've already done this too. Here, relax. This frees this is general homeostatic effects. And what do we say homeostasis is?
Balance.
Bringing the body back into balance, right? Next, we do fulling across the top of the head on the frontalis and temporalis muscles. Are those starting to sound familiar? Hopefully. And this helps to reduce tension. Next we do petrissage of the neck, and this would be petrissage kneading. And we're freeing myofascial restrictions. We're increasing the range of motion, reducing pain, improving circulation. And the region or the group is cervical and myofascial. Next we have cross fiber friction on the neck, which you do basically, the fibers, a lot of them are running this way, especially along the back of the neck. So you're going across the fibers, and then as you come along here, they wrap around here. So you do cross fiber friction along here. Does that make sense? Next, jostling the neck. And jostling is just kind of shaking like that. As you see, she hates it. Effleurage of the neck, ending in the pectoral region, smooth and closed neck work. Serves as a transition stroke for the cervical flexors and pectoral muscles. Petrissage of the chest. We'll loosen restrictions of the neck and the thoracic limb. What was the thoracic limb? Shoulder girdle, right? Next, we scoop under the forelegs. Scooping up and over. And that improves range of motion, pectoral muscles, and latissimus dorsi. Can you see how that's working the pectorals? And remember, these up here are the superficial, and these back here are the deep. So superficial and deep. Good girl. Next, we rake the chest up to the shoulder, and raking is just spreading your fingers apart wider. It frees the thoracic inlet, which is right in here. It improves lymphatic drainage, smooths and closes the neckwork, and acts as a transition stroke. Next, the sun and moon effleurage around the shoulder. And sun and moon, a lot of times on humans we do that on the abdomen, but the sun and moon, you'll want to follow the way the hair goes. So the sun is like this and the moon goes around. The sun goes all the way around and the moon goes around halfway. That's why it's called sun and moon. Because on one hand you can just keep doing circles.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can I ask it right now?
Yes, please.
When you were doing the stroke, doing the fascial pull, up from the pecs and up, a dog with a lot of fur, like Snitch, for example, a lot of fur, is that, I mean, like you can't get the skin.
You need to engage the tissue below the skin.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
fur.
that you're not. I guess that's going to be like the difference in a skull massage versus rubbing your.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So that was sun and moon around the shoulder. Then we do palm compression on the forelimbs, which you've already done before too, right? It helps with interstitial fluid exchange, muscle relaxation. And what is interstitial fluid? What is a lot of that made up of? Which part of the cells? What's the fluid part?
The matrix.
Matrix, yes, that's the fluid part. If you're looking at a swimming pool, the matrix is the water, and the fibers are the lane lines, and the cells are the swimmers. Okay, next we'll effleurage to distal thoracic limb and manus. Tissue relaxation and analgesia, superficial myofascial layers. So to the distal thoracic limb and out to the paw. Next, back and ribs. Improve rib and thoracic spinal motion and respiration, reduce restrictions and pain. Somatovisceral benefits, thoracic and abdominal wall musculature in the erector spinae. So a lot of times I like to do kind of like a raking along there. Because it just spreads all those tissues apart. Then we'll do the sun and moon effleurage on the hips and thighs. So again, following the lay of the land, we have the sun going around and around and the moon going halfway. And what that does is warms the hip thigh tissue and releases fascia for the hip extensors, quadriceps, hamstrings. Then we do cross-fiber friction of the gluteal region, frees the joint and reduces pain on the gluteal muscles. So the gluteal muscles, this would be going across the fiber because when they contract, they help pull that back, which is retraction of the hind limb, right? So if the fibers are going like this, we're going to go across the fibers. on her tiny hiney. Next, we are going to palm or compression of the pelvic limb. This again helps with interstitial fluid exchange and muscle relaxation. We're just doing that with the palm. You can also do it with that open fist if you want. They both work very similarly. I think probably I'm just going to learn out the naughty door. It's in and out like 500 times a day. All right, next, the tail, rock, and pull. Traction circles and effleurage over the entire body from the nose to the tail. This freeze tail motion improves perineal proprioception. Do you know what perineal proprioception is? Say that 6 times fast. What's the perineal area? Back in here, right? So proprioception is knowing where it is in space, right? If you're walking along and you don't have good proprioception, you might often run into door frames.
I've done that, yeah.
I've done that a lot. I'm walking, wham. But you can do the rock and roll with it, where you're kind of rolling it back and forth. You can do the gentle traction. You can do the circles. And then your full body effleurage from nose to toe. And then they just have like a closing, balanced body and mind. And that again is laying on of hands. And don't forget to go in for what?
Kiss it. You push massage kiss it.
Yeah. Such a good girl. Then we do the other side.
Alright.
Okay? Boy, yeah, you guys like it. Good doggies. Okay, so I will read through this. Everybody grab a dog. I think we can get everybody